So, big update to Polytopia. There's a beta release for an entirely reworked water unit set. So, finally, the thing we've all been asking for, a little bit more depth to the ocean situation. So we can see here at the top, the beta testing is only available to Steam players right now. Lucky for me, I just switched to Steam this week. So let's take a look at some of these boats we got here. We've got a raft, little wooden ship here, a rammer. It's like a smaller boat with a big spike sticking out of it. We've got the scout boat here. It's like a two-sail kind of narrow boat. We've got the starfish. I read ahead a bit. The starfish is sort of like a treasure in the ocean, I think. And we have the bomber. I'm guessing that's more like the traditional battleship. And then the juggernaut, which I don't know. So let's read on. Hey Polytopians, we're back with a brand new major beta update for you, the aptly named Path of the Ocean, formerly known as the Naval Rework. We've taken some time to pretty much fully rework how the naval game is played, adding new units, mechanics, and poking everything that merely looks at the water. Battleship spam, TM, is dumb, and we can promise you that it's now a thing of the past. To keep things quick and simple, the beta test is only available on Steam, table of contents. Remember, this is a beta. Things will most likely change before release, including unimplemented, unfinished art. So here we can see the new technology tier here. First thing I noticed, that fishing has ports now. And then over here where there was whaling, there's now aquaculture. It comes with, I guess, raising plants in the water and this rammer ship. Aquatism looks about the same. Sailing has a different boat, and it comes with deep sea navigation. And then navigation gives you this destroyer ship, I think it was called, right? Bomber. A bomber and the starfish. Oh, so you can only get starfish when you get this tech. You get a boat, you get a boat, everybody but aquatism gets a boat. Boats everywhere. Fishing. If you look at this picture, you'll notice that we have ports into fishing. Yes, that means that everyone has access to the water far faster than before. Putting ports in fishing gives us the possibility to use the whole fishing branch for naval stuff instead of just the sailing branch. To help you get into the naval game from the start, ports have also had their cost reduced to 7 stars, but their population brought down to 1. Putting a unit into a port will turn it into a defenseless raft, which makes for easy transporting across shallow water. We'll talk more about the raft and other units in a bit. Wow, it's pretty crazy. So ports are a lot cheaper, and they come with the fishing tech, and only 1 population. Pretty big difference. Sailing is now home to the Nimble Scout, fast and observant unit that replaces the ship. You'll also be able to take any of your naval units on the ocean when you get this tech. Pretty handy. So basically you'll be getting in the water a lot faster than before, and you'll be able to get into the deep sea even faster. Navigation gives you access to the mighty bomber, a ship that can cause massive collateral damage, but it is quite slow and clunky. In addition to that, we've added starfish as a replacement to whales. To harvest them, you need to move one of your units to the tile they are on. This new mechanic also means that you can harvest starfish in neutral or enemy territories, so make sure to gobble them up before your opponents do. So instead of whales, you have these starfish, and your enemies can take them out of your territory. Pretty cool. Aquaculture. Now on the other side of the branch, whaling has been changed to aquaculture. Since ports no longer make 2 population, that job has been handed to aqua farms, which are simply farms on the water. They cost 5 stars and give you 2 population, just as a farm would. This tech also adds the rammer, a sturdy melee assault ship that's good for taking over coastal cities. Oh, very cool. Roads look a bit different in this picture too. It's like planks or something. Not just roads anymore. Oh, did I miss something? Oh, it's not the road. What is this thing? Wait, roads isn't in the fishing branch, is what you probably just said. Yeah, and? Is our response. Roads still gives you roads, but it also allows for bridges. Whoa! Bridges will help you get over those small gaps in the land and might allow you to bypass the need for naval on some maps. Wow, that's so crazy! Oh man, archipelago maps are going to be way different. It's going to be bridges everywhere. Huh. New units, you say? If you read the previous section, you'll notice that yes, we did add new naval units. Gone are the boat ship and battleship, and come in the raft, scout, rammer, bomber, and juggernaut. Oh yeah, the original ships are just gone. It's a totally different situation now. When placing a unit into a port, they'll become a raft. A raft can be upgraded into any of the other naval unit types. Oh, that's nice. Barring the juggernaut. Assuming you have the proper tech and you're in friendly territory. Oh, cool. Huh. So you can't upgrade them when you're not in friendly territory, I guess. Also worth noting is that pirates and dinghies are still in. They just haven't been adjusted any and don't factor into this update. Okay. I like the pirate boats. A simple naval unit that does a job and does it well. Oh, so the raft, it's like the castaway raft. Wilson! The raft replaces the boat, functioning as a defenseless means of getting on the water or transporting your land units. Flimsy but free, they function as the base unit that can be upgraded to the scout, rammer, or bomber when in friendly territory. Oh, so when you drop something in the water like a giant, it's got to be vulnerable for a turn, I guess? Float, carry, cost 0, movement 2, attack 0, defense 2. Oh, so they have some defense, they just can't attack, and they move like a regular small boat. Scout. A boat so cool you'll ship yourself. I like it, I already am. The battleship did a lot of things at once, so we chopped it up and spread it around into the new units. The scouts got, you guessed it, scout. They speed around the waters, exploring new lands and using their range attack to whittle down units. Quite fragile, but still a good all-around unit that you can use to get a quick advantage over your opponents. Cost 5, so that's regular. Float, carry, dash, scout. That's pretty cool. So the what used to be just the ship can get the scout ability now, so you can see further around you as if you're a battleship. Movement 3, attack 2, defense 1, range 2. So they're pretty weak. Defense 1 is like that's like an archer. Rammers like to get up close and personal. Rammers are melee ships designed to work their way through a crowd and assassinate targets or capture a city. They're strong, durable, and speedy. Think of them like swordsmen on the water, more or less. Oh man, that's so cool. I love that. Cost 5 also. Movement 3, attack 3, defense 3, range 1. Wow, so yeah, they're the same stats as a swordsman, and they can only move 1 at a time. That's pretty interesting. I like how there's options now, so it's not just the same path. Everyone's just trying to get to battleships, and it's just how you spend your stars. It's actually like you got to have a strategy and think about what ships you want to use going forward. Pretty cool. Bomber. It won't just hit the defenders. It won't hit just the defenders, but the archers and the catapults too. Whoa, how far can that thing shoot? Is that what they're saying? The bomber is effectively a retooled battleship, one put into more of a bombarding role. Functioning similarly to catapults, bombers are 3-range units that also have splash, allowing them to hit not just the target, but also any adjacent targets. Whoa, that's so crazy. So it's like the Simonti catapult equivalent. Fantastic for weakening a land defense and letting your rammers establish a beachhead. Oh man, so cool. Of course, this extreme power comes at a cost. They don't have dash, and they're fairly expensive. Much like catapults, bombers need time to set up before they can dish out their tremendous damage. In that time, they'll need help defending themselves. Huh. They cost 15, so like a battleship. They have splash damage, which is pretty awesome. Movement 3, attack 4, defense 2, range 3. Oh, so they can move pretty far too. They're kind of similar to the Ice Tribe's fortress unit, except they can shoot even farther and they have splash damage and they move pretty far too, similar to when the fortresses are on ice. Juggernaut. Always make sure to give your juggernauts a proper escort, unlike us. Huh. We didn't want 40 HP bombers being a thing, and that meant we had to get creative. Meet the Juggernaut, which is what happens if you put a giant onto a port. Poof, no upgrading required. Oh, cool. So I was wrong before when I thought that giants would be vulnerable for a turn. They're strong, they're durable, and they've got some range. So what's the catch? They have a new trait, Stiff, which prevents them from doing any retaliation damage when hit. Huh. Juggernauts are designed to fill a similar role to giants on land, breaking stalemates, tanking damage, and dealing pain to their enemies. But since they can't defend themselves, they'll need support from other aquatic units to get the most out of them. Wow, so a lot more planning has to be involved, not just spamming giant battleships as fast as you can. You've got to have support units or they'll get eaten up. Cost 0. Oh wow, that's pretty nuts too. They cost nothing. Just got to put a giant into the port. Movement 2, so they're like a dinghy as far as the movement, or a raft. now. Attack 3, defense 3, range 2. So same ranges battleships usually have. New buildings in my naval rework? In short, yes, we've already talked about ports getting updated, so let's talk about the updates to other buildings. Bridges. Oh man, that's going to be a game changer. That's pretty crazy. Good for giving a landlocked enemy a path right to your capital. Oh man, think about Siamonte. We're always kind of safe from them when there's water because they need to make algae bridges and it takes forever. Now they can just build a bridge. Pretty cool. Adding in roads, bridges cost 10. Whoa, that's a lot. And they are built on one-tile water gaps between land masses. They'll function as roads for movement and city connections, and they can be sailed underneath. Okay. No, you can't daisy-chain bridges together. They can only be used to connect land masses in one direction, and that direction can't be diagonal. Much like roads, they can also be built in neutral territory. Okay, so they're just for little gaps. Siamonte's still going to be stuck on islands, unless it's just like this. Market. Whoa, what's this thing? As if we needed to give you more reasons to only play Drylands, markets cost 5 stars. More reasons to play only Drylands. Oh, because they're assuming people are going to be upset with the update. Of course, everyone's always upset with every update in every game I've ever heard of. Markets cost 5 stars and are the new custom houses. Huh. They will give you +1 star per turn for every adjacent port, but also for any windmill, forge, or sawmill. Oh man, that's why Drylands. Huh. That is so much more useful. Yes, you can now use markets on dryland maps. No ports necessary. Markets should allow you to squeeze out a few more stars from some very clever city planning. Yeah, that adds a lot. You've really got to be careful about how you set up your like 3rd tier economic buildings like these. Did it say that forges too? Yeah, windmill, forge, or sawmill. Wow. So smart planning players who lean into economy are just going to be huge, but it's only 1 star for each. So it's not, you've got to really do a lot. Let's talk about the special tribes. Now we're going to talk about the change we made to each of the special tribes. Oh man, I knew it. Aquarian has to be the first one. Everybody's so sick of that. The Tridentan spam. Just the only strategy against Aquarium is make sure they don't get Tridentans or you're just going to lose. We're going to talk about the changes we've made to each of the special tribes to accommodate the new features. Since the regular tribes have gotten new units and have all been given faster access to the water, we've ensured that each of the specials have gotten the same treatment or something equivalent. Wow. We plan to properly rework each of them in the future, so consider these changes to be semi-temporary, bare minimum changes until we can properly deep dive into each of them and give them the reworks they properly deserve. With that being said, let's examine each one. Sound the alarm! Aquarian has been given some love for the first time ever. Well, uh-oh. This is not the Aquarian rework. Okay, let's now get that out of the way. Let's discuss the changes that we've made to keep them playable. We have finally given them a starting tech, and one that should allow them to start taking coastal villages fairly early. Oh, did they not have a starting tech? Aquarian now starts with a riding tech and an amphibian. Oh, that's pretty sweet. So they're like Umaji, but on the water. Crabs now have 2 movement in the water and a thicker shell, giving them 5 defense. Tridentans now have 10 HP instead of 15. Oh yeah, that helps. Needed that. Amphibians and Tridentans have lost the ability to use roads on land. Huh. So they're really stuck in the water. Illyrion. Wow, look at this madness. Wait, why is this giant on a raft? I thought he would automatically turn into a bomber. Something is missing. If you look at this picture, you'll see this navy no longer has any Navalons. With the replacement of whales with starfish, the Navalon has gone the way of the dodo and has been removed. Well, I hated playing against them, but when I had them, they sure were awesome. Illyrion is still able to harvest starfish, as the star harvesting process does not harm the starfish. Well, that's nice. They're very eco-friendly. Scraping the valuable stars of the skin is actually a joyful experience for them if you're concerned about the lore reasons for this process. Remove Navalons, can harvest starfish. Well, that's just kind of a debuff. They just lost a unit, but at least they can tickle starfish. Polaris. I kept saying Ice Tribe. Polaris. I don't know why I couldn't remember that. Ice Baby. Out of all the special tribes, Polaris has gotten the most dynamic and drastic changes. In order to get them on the water as fast as the other tribes, we've done a big thing, giving the Mooney auto freeze. Whoa, that's huge. That's going to be hard to play against, especially It was all this cool water gear, but it's going to be frozen. Every time a Mooney moves, you'll freeze water, land, and units around it, kind of like a Gami. They've been nerfed in other ways to compensate, but this change should overhaul how you see Polaris. Not to be outdone, though, the other tribes have discovered how to break ice as part of a dash action. Ah, okay, that balances it out. It was so hard to break ice before because you had to sit there for a turn, hope they didn't kill you, and you basically lose a unit if the Polaris is on top of it. So the ice spread should be more of a dynamic push and pull between everyone. We've also adjusted their tech tree, as you can see in the picture. Not sure I see it. Oh, well, let me read about it. Mooney gained auto freeze and have lost the power to manually freeze, and now have a defense of 1. Gami have lost the power to manually freeze. Oh, so they have to move. Huh, so you could surround them technically and stop them from freezing. The Frostware tech now replaces fishing, which allows for Mooney. Oh. Ice fishing replaces aquaculture, allowing for harvesting fish and building outposts. Okay. Here it is. That's weird. They kind of switched the fishing there. Battle sleds are now in sledding, which replaces sailing. Here they are up here. Ice fortresses are in polar warfare, which allows for harvesting starfish. The ice bank now makes +2 for each level up instead of +3. We'd love to hear what you think of the new Polaris. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not as familiar with Polaris tribes, so I don't have much thought. I mean, the ice thing is pretty crazy. Yeah, it's definitely going to be a big push-pull if they can dash ice and destroy ice with a dash as well. See, Monty, I got these Reikis slightly earlier than usual. Look at them. The Siamonti haven't got much in the way of major changes, only putting the Reiki in their equivalent of sailing instead of navigation, which should make it easier to spread algae or assault navies. That does help. The placement of algae has changed as well. Don't worry, we'll be examining the Siamonti properly. I've been saying it wrong, Siamonti, properly later on. Reiki are now in pescatism, which replaces sailing. Algae are now in hydrology, which now replaces aquaculture. Oceanology replaces navigation and grants the ability to harvest starfish. I wish they had put a tree here like the other ones. What else has changed? While we've covered most things that have been added to this update, there's a few last things we'd like to share. Lighthouse. Yep, that's a lighthouse on the edge of the world. A common complaint was about how the Explorer task reveal the map was too difficult and often ignored, so we changed it to find all lighthouses. Each of the 4 corners of the map will have a lighthouse. Each lighthouse will grow every time another player discovers it and show who has seen it. Wow. You also don't need navigation or an equivalent tech to get this task, as it will start the moment you find one. Huh. Network task. Yeah, it was really hard to explore every tile. I mean, if your opponents are about as strong as you, what are the odds of you getting all the way behind them and seeing their backfield? Even to the very end, like exploring every last tile is pretty tough. Network task. The network task, connect 5 cities to your capital, is no longer tied to the roads tech. Instead, it will start automatically when you connect your first city. This is a tiny change, but it will make it possible to get that monument even on maps where roads are not needed, such as through ports. Huh. What does that mean? Automatically when you connect your first city? I don't really understand what that means. So, connect your first city with what? Just when you get multiple cities, or you just need to connect one city with a road and then the rest start to... not really sure what that means. Ooh, look at that. Continents overhaul. Oh, yeah, that's nice. I feel like continents is always unbalanced. If you weren't joking about Aquarion, you were probably joking about continents, everyone's favorite map to dislike. Well, we've completely rewritten the terrain generator for continents, hopefully turning it into one of your favorites. Now you'll find that this map type will try to give everyone their own continent or divide everyone evenly on a few continents, on top of a handful of other possible configurations. You'll also see some continents that are divided by one-tile rivers, which are good for bridges. There's a lot of variety in the new map type, and we hope you have a lot of fun. Yeah, that's great, because I feel like what would always happen with continents is players would get different size continents, or 2 players would be stuck on a small continent, 1 player would have a huge continent by himself. So there's a lot of opportunity for just random chance and unfair starts. So this sounds bit more fun and balanced. I still like continents myself anyway. I just like the fact that you have to go in the water to face your enemies. Pangea. Oh, that's cool. Oh, I like this. Wow. Pangea. Yeah, I was saying it wrong too. Well, that's because English isn't the first language. Pangea is a new style map, new map type. Simply put, it's a large landmass surrounded by water. Like if you shove dry lands and archipelago together, expect tons of fighting on the continent, but never be surprised if your opponent hits you with naval units. Both continents and Pangea will prioritize placing capitals on the roads or on the coast to hopefully balance out the need for both land and naval forces. That makes sense, yeah. I mean, imagine if you're stalemated here and nobody else thinks of going into the ocean and you just kind of whip around and flank your neighbor. Be pretty cool. AI improvements. Need that. We've made the AI smarter and able to use the new fancy water stuff. More importantly, they'll be smarter with their tech choices, and you should notice a much more difficult, crazy difficulty. We'd love to hear what you think. Yeah, I feel like when I first started, it was really hard to win on crazy, but after playing for a long time, it's just guaranteed. I just always crush them. Except for like a 10-player cage match or something. Some small balance changes. We've heard your complaints about barter and rider road meta, so we've made both lumber huts and roads cost 3 stars. Whoa! Changing lumber huts should slow barter down a little, and the change to roads now follows your philosophy of ensuring that you think a little before plopping down a road on every single tile. I'm guilty of that. I'm like, this unit, I put him in a bad spot, gotta move him fast. I'll just build another road. Then my whole little territory looks like a spiderweb or something. On top of that, we've also removed fortify from swordsmen, further differentiating them from defenders, which are now the definitive defensive unit. Oh, I don't like that because swordsmen are my favorite unit, but they're often just not that good compared to a bunch of knights or catapults or archers, so kind of taking fortify from swordsmen, I don't like that change. Because I like to put a swordsman as like a expensive defender on a city, and that way you can attack or defend, whereas the defenders are kind of just stuck defending and their attack is so bad it's usually not worth it. Last but not least, parks now make +1 star in addition to their 250p score bonus, so now you have a valid reason to take a park instead of a giant in domination or might. Yeah, I guess so. Giant's probably better still than +1 star. Maybe in domination it's different. How do I play the new beta? Simple. Just hop onto our open Steam beta. No mobile access at this time, but all Steam users can join by using this code. Polytopia beta testers. Hey, if you all want to see the new stuff in action, give my channel a follow. I'm going to be downloading this tomorrow and I'll be playing as soon as I can, and I'll upload a new video. Thanks for watching. Hope you're as excited as I am about the new update.